Hey guys, Nicole here with Momentum Accounting, and in this video, I am going to answer the question, how much cash should I keep in reserves in my business? So as a general rule of thumb, my recommendation is to keep anywhere between 2 to 4 months of expenses in cash. So as an example, if your monthly expenses on average are $100,000, then if you were going to keep 2 months of cash reserves in your bank account, you would keep $200,000 and on the high end, $400,000. So I know that's a pretty big spread there. So the next question you're probably asking is, well, what's the right number for me? And my answer to that is it depends on your cash risk. So the less cash risk you have, the less cash you need on hand, and the more risk, the more cash you need on hand. So things that increase risk are project revenue or short-term contracts versus recurring revenue, giving customers long payment terms, so 30, 60, 90-day payment terms, getting paid after delivering services, customer concentration risk, so you never want one customer to be more than, say, 15% of your revenue, not having a solid invoicing and collections process, so it's very important that you have the right team and the right technology in place when it comes to invoicing to make sure those invoices are going out right away and someone's following up on past due customers. Low profit margins obviously will create cash flow issues and an unpredictable pipeline. So things that reduce cash risk are recurring revenue, getting paid up front before you perform services, which I always recommend. Using subcontractors instead of employees for your non-core services. So that way, if your revenue does go down, your expenses go down with it. You're not having to cover employees sitting around. Adding cancellation clauses to your contract. So I always recommend that businesses add 30, 60, or 90-day clauses, meaning that if a customer cancels, they still have to pay the rest of that contract. And the larger the client, the longer the period should be. And then the last thing is access to capital. So access to capital, example of that could be a line of credit. So every business should have a line of credit available to them, regardless of if they need it or not. So you can ask your bank to about getting a line of credit and having that available, even if you don't draw on it in case of an emergency. Other examples of access to capital would be, say, if you're the solo S-Corp owner and you have a house and maybe you have equity in that house, you might have a HELOC available that you can access in case you need to. So those are the things that reduce and increase risk. So things can flip very quickly in service businesses. So you don't want to have to be in a position where you have to lay off employees. So if you don't like cash sitting around in your bank account not working for you, I totally understand. You can always take the cash out and put it in, say, like a high interest checking account or somewhere else where you're earning interest on it, but it's still accessible if you need it. In the next portion of this video, I am going to show you how we show this data to our clients monthly and track how many months of cash reserves they have using a tool called Reach Reporting. So I will flip over that and show you that in a second. So just to show you real quickly, this is a dashboard that we track for our clients, and it is there. You can see the monthly cash balance and then their burn rate. So we're basically just taking their live data from their QuickBooks Online account or Xero account, and then we take the cash balance and divide it by the average monthly expense. And then that tells us our burn rate. And the reason why we like to track this is we want to make sure, so in this case, this client had very, very low cash risk, they have recurring revenue, they have cancellation terms in the contract, they have access to capital, they're doing all the things right. So we decided with them that we'll do 2 months of cash reserves. And so you can see it usually is around 2 and it's rounded, so that's why it's just 2 goes down and up. But what we don't want is for it to go too high, because when you have too much cash on hand, what do? We spend it. So there's really a sweet spot. So I recommend taking out anything beyond your goal in terms of the months of cash reserves. Out of sight, out of mind, move it into account, out of your business, so you're not wanting to go spend it on crazy things. So anyway, that's what we do with our clients. And if you are interested in learning more, feel free to go to momentumaccounting.com and reach out there. Thanks. See you at the next video.